The door wasn't locked. That was his first mistake. The second mistake was assuming I wouldn't come home early from my trip. But his ultimate mistake, thinking I wouldn't notice the smell of my best friend's perfume on his pillow. The hallway felt like a slow-motion dream sequence, throat tight, suitcase wheels bumping against the hardwood, heartbeats so loud it drowned out the sound of laughter. Laughter that wasn't mine. I froze. And then I heard it, her voice. Most people talk about finding out they've been cheated on through text messages or rumors or a drunk confession. I got the deluxe version. Live in 4K, surround sound. No buffering. I nudged the bedroom door just 2 inches, and the entire universe tilted. The sheets were a mess of tan skin, limbs, and hair that I recognized instantly. The same honey blonde waves I braided on her wedding day as her maid of honor. The air smelled like floral body spray and sweat. My sweat. Because apparently they were using my damn candles too. He didn't even stop immediately. I swear to God, he kept going for 3 more seconds until he saw my reflection in the mirror across the room. That was the moment. Everything. Rosie's eyes went wide. Her face disappeared under the blanket like a scared toddler hiding from the bogeyman. I didn't scream. I didn't throw anything. I didn't even cry. I did something far worse. I smiled, not a happy smile. Hey, this is going to get so much worse for you smile. The kind of smile that makes villains in movies rethink life choices. He stuttered, baby, this isn't what it looks like. Classic, textbook, pathetic. I rolled my suitcase into the hallway and closed the bedroom door behind me. Number theatrics, no broken glass, just silence. And my silence scares people. Always has. Most people ask me why I didn't explode right then and there. Honestly, the explosion had already happened inside me. Outward chaos would have just let them think they had power. So I walked out. My hand was shaking so bad I dropped my car keys twice before finally peeling out of the driveway. The whole ride home. And yes, I've still called it home. I kept replaying the scene like I was watching security footage. Everything was too detailed. The scrunched bed sheets, the stupid teal nail polish on her toes. I bought her that polish for her birthday. The way he tried to grab the blanket to cover her. But here's the twisted part. Catching them wasn't even the thing that ruined me. It was what came after. Because infidelity isn't a single event. It's a domino chain of humiliations and lies that start way before you notice them and stop way after you escape. And at that point, I hadn't even begun to understand how deep that rot went. I sat in my car in a grocery store parking lot for an hour, staring at nothing. Disbelief, like that weird numb shock where you think, no, this can't be real. Not me, not him, not her, because the betrayal hit double. It wasn't just my husband, it was my best friend, my ride or die, the woman who held my hand after my miscarriage, the woman who cried on my shoulder during her divorce and told me I was the sister she never had. That's what cheating really is. By the way, not the sex, not the secrecy, not even the lies. It's the annihilation of reality. It makes you question your intelligence, your memories, your gut, everything. I kept asking myself, when did it start? How long had they been laughing behind my back? How many dinners? How many trips? How many lies? But the worst question was the simplest, why? Here's the part almost no one talks about. Catching them is the easy part. Surviving the aftermath is where things get complicated. Because you don't just lose a relationship, you lose the version of yourself that existed before the betrayal. And betrayal always leaves you in debt. You pay in dignity, time, sanity, and hope. But they pay too eventually, and interest always stacks. Most people think this story ends with divorce papers and a dramatic courtroom meltdown, but mine didn't. Because here's the thing. The cheating wasn't actually the worst part. Not even close. 3 weeks later, I found something that made walking in on them look like a warm-up round. Something that forced me to rethink my entire marriage and my entire friendship from scratch. And once I knew the truth, revenge stopped being an idea and became a mission. I didn't know it then, but I was already becoming the villain in their story. I drove back to the house exactly once after that night, not to confront them, not to beg, not to cry, but to confirm the one thing my brain refused to accept. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't a moment of weakness. This was a partnership. And the second I realized that, everything changed. because if they wanted to play dirty, I could play surgically. People always ask me, wasn't she like your sister? Yeah, that's what made it disgusting. Affairs hurt, but affairs with the best friend hit like a sniper shot, clean, silent, lethal, the day after I caught them. My phone blew up with her texts, not his, hers. Hey girl, wanna do brunch? Mishi, are you okay? I've been thinking about you. Call me, seriously. The irony. She sent those while she was in my bed. But that's the thing about people like Sarah. Their superpower is pretending. They can lie with their eyes, their voice, their tears, and they make you feel guilty for doubting them. Let's rewind 5 years. Sarah wasn't just some friend, she was the friend. The kind that remembers anniversaries, sends care packages, and gives speeches at your wedding that make the entire audience cry. She was there when I had my miscarriage. She held my hair while I threw up from the anesthetic. She sat on my bathroom floor with a blanket around both of us and said, "You're not broken. You're going to be a mom one day. I promise." She said that while secretly sleeping with the man who was supposed to make me a mom. Friendship betrayal hits differently. Husband betrayal breaks your heart. Best friend betrayal breaks your identity. Everyone loves to act wise in hindsight. They say stuff like, "Ooh, I knew she was shady the second I saw her." No, they didn't. Sarah fooled everybody. But looking back, there were signs crawling all over the walls like cockroaches, and I just didn't turn the lights on. Clue number 1, getting too comfortable. Sarah had this habit of showing up at our house way too dressed up for Netflix and wine. Tight jeans, glossy lips, hair done. Meanwhile, I'm in pajama pants and a messy bun like a gremlin. My husband Matt would always play it cool, but he laughed too hard at her jokes. The kind of laugh men do when they're impressed, not amused. Clue number 2, the inside jokes. They had bits, little lines only they understood. I'd ask what was funny and they'd say, "Oh, it's dumb. You had to be there." The funny thing was, I was always there. Clue number 3, the work excuses. He started working late. Classic. Meanwhile, Sarah started being busy. Busy with what? Apparently my marriage. Clue number 4, the hoodie. This one makes me want to punch myself in the throat. She had one of Matt's hoodies, said she borrowed it during a movie night. I bought the lie so fast, I should have gotten frequent flyer miles. Have you ever had that gut feeling you ignored? That tiny itch in your brain whispering, something's off. But you smother it because you don't want to sound paranoid. Drop it in the comments if you've been there. I know I'm not the only clown in this circus. 2 months before the discovery, Sarah asked me a weird question. We were drinking iced coffee and scrolling Pinterest for Christmas decor ideas. Real suburban housewife vibes. She casually goes, "If you and Matt ever split, who do you think he'd end up with?" I laughed it off, said something dumb like, "I don't know, some coworker? He's into smart girls." She smirked, and said, "Yeah, he is." I chalked it up to sarcasm. Turns out it was foreshadowing. This one still makes me nauseous. After our wedding, Sarah asked to take one of my honeymoon photos for inspo. Cute, right? No, creepy. Months later, after everything blew up, I found that same photo saved in a folder on Matt's laptop titled Plans, plural, as in multiple. I didn't open the folder that day. I didn't have the stomach. That moment belonged. 2, Section 3, trust me, you're not ready. What makes cheaters dangerous isn't lying, it's the maintenance. Cheaters are project managers. They juggle schedules, alibis, emotions, narratives, and props. Sarah played the supportive best friend role so well she deserved an Oscar. She'd give me pep talks about my marriage problems she was actively creating. Example, when Matt started pulling away, I told her I felt insecure. Her response was, "You're overthinking. Men get like that when they're stressed." The girl was literally the stress. On my birthday, she threw a surprise party at our house. Everyone thought it was sweet. She made a toast about how I was the strongest woman she knew. Matt hugged her during it, a full body press. 2 seconds too long. At the time, I thought, wow, I'm lucky to have people who love me. Now I think, wow, those two sociopaths planned an affair and a birthday party in the same week. 3 days after I caught them in bed, curiosity finally outweighed humiliation. I needed proof, not for court, not for closure, for sanity. So I went back home when I knew Matt was at work. I didn't touch anything. I just observed her perfume, BAFTA in my drawer, her hair in my hairbrush, her scrunchie on my nightstand, her receipts in the trash. That wasn't cheating. That was residency. But the thing that made my stomach flip wasn't any of that. It was what I found inside Matt's office desk, something I didn't even know existed, something that turned cheating into conspiracy. And once I opened it, I realized two horrifying truths. This wasn't a fling. This had been going on for a very, very long time. And if that wasn't bad enough, the worst part hadn't even surfaced yet. I didn't go nuclear, not yet. You don't drop the bomb before you know where everyone's hiding. I chose the smarter route, the quieter one, the one cheaters never expect. I played dumb. To Matt, I was the clueless, emotional wife who just needed space. To Sarah, I was the supportive friend who just wanted to talk things out. But behind closed doors, I was building a case. I started small, breadcrumbs, phone logs, credit card statements, browser history. You'd be shocked how lazy cheaters get when they think they're geniuses. Matt had a second credit card, one I never knew existed, hidden, separate billing address, separate P.O. box. It wasn't just cheating with his body, he was cheating with his finances. That's when something shifted in me. Affairs are emotional betrayals. Secret credit cards are legal ones. I went deeper into the one place cheaters always underestimate: delete messages. Here's a fun fact. Deleting isn't deleting. Deleting is hiding. His phone backups went back 3 years. Text threads, photos, voicemails, tiny timestamps, mapping out an entire secret relationship timeline. The worst message wasn't sexual or romantic. It was logistical. She leaves at 6. I'm free by 6:30. Cheating isn't passion. Cheating is scheduling. This wasn't a drunk mistake. This wasn't a bad month. This wasn't a phase. It went back 2.5 years. 2.5 years of birthdays, holidays, anniversaries, funerals, vacations, layered with inside jokes and betrayal. But the part that made me go cold, my birthday dinner from 2 years ago. I found photos of it on Matt's phone, not of me blowing out candles, but of him texting Sarah under the table. Real-time commentary. Sarah, she looks so happy. Matt, she really has no idea. Sarah, I almost feel bad. Matt, don't. She's lucky I stayed. Lucky, lucky, lucky. That word became gasoline. If you're watching this right now, tighten your blanket and smash the like button so YouTube knows to unlock the next chapter. And tell me in the comments, what country are you watching from? And what time is it there? I need to know who's up with me in the dark while we unravel this mess together. Remember that honeymoon photo folder? The one labeled plans on his laptop? Yeah, I finally opened it. Inside were spreadsheets Ricklifts come from planning their trips they took while I was at my mother's chemo appointments. Trips they took while I was working overtime to help our down payment. Trips they took while I was miscarrying alone in a hospital room. It wasn't an affair, it was a relationship. And I was the side character in my own marriage. That's the moment my grief rewired into something sharper, cleaner, meaner. People always assume revenge comes from rage. It doesn't. Revenge comes from clarity. And now I was seeing everything clearly. Sarah wasn't my friend, Matt wasn't my husband. I was their cover story. In the back of Matt's locked desk drawer, the one I had to pry open with a butter knife, I found paperwork, legal paperwork, joint lease applications, ring financing quotes, vacation home brochures. In the fine print, the part they assumed I'd never see, Sarah's name and Matt's were listed together as future spouses. Not hypothetical, not someday, not fantasy. Future. They were planning a life while I was living one. And if you think that's the climax, you're adorable. Because the best part wasn't discovering what they had planned. It was realizing how much leverage their little fantasy gave me. Leverage is better than therapy. Leverage gets you paid. Leverage gets you justice. And I was about to weaponize every receipt, message, and timestamp they ever created. I didn't cry. I didn't confront. I didn't collapse. I smiled the same smile I wore the night I caught them. Because now I wasn't just the betrayed wife. I was the architect of their downfall. And if you thought catching them in bed was the shocking part, wait until you see how I lit the match. There's a difference between revenge and chaos. Chaos is loud, revenge is surgical. Most people go for chaos, screaming, fighting, throwing clothes on the lawn, calling moms and cousins and uncles. Not me. I wanted legacy revenge, the kind that echoes, the kind that makes people flinch when they remember it. Before I took any action, I built a folder, a clean, color-coded, lawyer-friendly masterpiece, screenshots, receipts, deleted backups, bank records, GPS history, even audio. I didn't know this before, but cheaters accidentally document their crimes like influencers, photos, voice notes, hotel selfies, time-stamped texts. It's an evidence buffet if you're willing to dig. The folder had 3 tabs. Affair, documentation, financial misconduct, future planning. The part that pissed me off most, I labeled it exit strategy. Hiring a lawyer wasn't petty. It was strategic. The BOFter favors the calm side, not the loud one. My attorney, Marisa, was a shark disguised as a Pilates instructor. Blonde, soft-spoken, kills you with closes. I handed her the folder. She flipped through it once, closed it, and said, "Oh yeah, we're gonna clean him out." Music to my ears. She advised 3 things: separate finances, quietly locked down my credit, secure a new address, and then she said the line that unlocked my inner demon: make no moves until I tell you to. Patience is where the money is. I signed a lease under a different email and moved a suitcase worth of essentials: passport, birth certificate, sentimental stuff, and petty items like my favorite air fryer because I knew Matt loved it. Leaving in secret felt like cheating back, except my version didn't require showering afterward. Here's the thing about revenge: it needs an audience. Cheating thrives in the dark. Humiliation thrives in daylight. So I picked the perfect venue: Matt's birthday dinner, public. Formal, family, present, phones out. Impossible for him to spin. Sarah obviously was invited. Of course she was. She'd planned half the event with his mother. The audacity of side chicks is remarkable. They love operating as if they're already wives. When I walked into that restaurant, I wasn't the crying wife anymore. I was the storm. His mom hugged me and whispered, "I'm so happy you two are working things out." I just smiled because this wasn't the moment to explain what was actually being worked out. We sat, toasts started. Matt was drunk on attention and expensive bourbon. Sarah sat 2 seats down, wearing my necklace. I didn't blink. I logged it as evidence of poor taste. When it was my turn, I stood. Everyone loves when the wife makes a sentimental speech. I didn't disappoint, just not in the way they expected. I pulled out a small gift bag and set it in front of him. He grinned. "Oh, babe, you didn't have to," I interrupted. "Don't open it yet. There's a slideshow." The lights dimmed. The TV on the wall lit up. And my folder, my beautiful, immaculate exit strategy folder came to life. Photos, texts, hotel receipts, flirty voice memos, date time stamps, even the spreadsheet from the plans folder. Gasps. Forks dropping. His mother whispered, "Dear God." Sarah goes pale as cremation ash. Matt choked. "Turn it off, turn it off." I shook my head. "You planned 2 years of betrayal. You can sit through a 4-minute recap." The room was a graveyard of shock. His sister muttered, "Oh my God, the honeymoon." His mom looked at Sarah and said, "You?" And Sarah had no line. The star finally ran out of script. When the slideshow ended, I pushed the gift bag across the table. Inside, the divorce papers, served, prepared, signed on my side, and under them a Bauer-apt stack of printed receipts titled, "Itemized Disrespect." That's when Matt broke. Panic looks different on cheaters. It's not sadness, it's logistics. They panic about money, assets, timelines, exposure. He whispered, "You're ruining my life." I leaned in and said the line I'd rehearsed in my car mirror for a week. "Sweetheart, I didn't ruin anything. I'm just narrating the part you wrote." Then I walked out, not rushing, not crying, just leaving like an ending. But here's the twist no one saw coming. Ending the marriage wasn't the finale. It was just Act 1. Because Marissa, my lawyer, was waiting outside in her tussle, sipping an iced latte like we'd just finished Pilates class. I slid into the passenger seat. She smirked. "That went well. Are you ready for phase 2? Phase 2. I thought divorce was the new dot. Turns out divorce was just the warm-up. Phase 2 meant consequences, real ones. Professional, financial, social. Because what Matt and Sarah did wasn't just unethical. It violated multiple HR policies at Matt's job. And Sarah's, too. Revenge isn't just about making people hurt. It's about making people answer. And the best part, they thought the humiliation at dinner was the worst thing that could happen to them. They hadn't even begun to imagine what was coming next. People think the climax of a cheating story is catching them in bed. Cute. The real climax is the aftermath, when the spotlight's off. The lies collapse, and real-world consequences clock in for their shift. Phase 2 wasn't emotional, it was administrative, and the administration does not play. 3 days after the divorce dinner, Matt got called into HR, not because I told them, because Marisa did. Turns out Matt and Sarah's work trips violated multiple workplace policies: fraternization, harassment risk, misuse of travel budgets, the kind of stuff companies freak out over. Corporate America doesn't care about romance. Corporate America cares about liability. By the end of that week, Matt was politely offered 2 options. Resign with a weak reference, be terminated with a very spicy file. He resigned, not for dignity, for severance. Sarah didn't lose her job. She lost something worse, her reputation. Best friends are PR managers of your social life. When one betrays you, they forfeit the network. I didn't have to expose her. I just stopped defending her. But in 2 months, she wasn't invited to girls' night. She got kicked out of the group chat. Her Maduvanor speech videos vanished from Instagram. Her perfect friend aesthetic broke like cheap chandeliers. Funny thing about social circles, they don't punish cheaters because they're moral. They punish cheaters because it makes the group sink in drama. Asterisks. Now here's where it gets delicious. Matt and Sarah actually tried to turn their affair into a relationship. Of course they did. Tutors always believe Plan B will be perfect because Plan A has obstacles called accountability. They lasted 3 months. 3. Turns out the excitement of sneaking around doesn't survive the excitement of arguing over who's doing dishes. She wanted marriage. He wanted a reset button. She wanted commitment. He wanted to borrow money. Plot twist. Turns out Sarah didn't know about his secret credit card debt, or his salary plateau, or his childhood trauma TikTok addiction. They broke up in a parking lot of a Chili's. Peak romance. Meanwhile, I wasn't crawling through rubble. I was rebuilding from a blueprint. New apartment, new job promotion. Turns out crying at work occasionally makes people think you're passionate. New hobbies: kickboxing, pottery, and aggressively expansive skincare. 1 year post-divorce, I looked in the mirror and realized something wild. I recognized myself again. Not the wife version, not the desperate friend version. The me. Freedom doesn't feel like fireworks. It feels like not flinching at the sound of a text tone. One afternoon, I ran into Matt in the grocery store. He looked older, not in years, in spirit. He spotted me, hesitated, then walked over like a man approaching a police checkpoint. "How are you?" he asked. I shrugged. "Good. Busy?" He nodded and picked at a hangnail, like a nervous teenager. Then he said, "I miss us. Not I'm sorry. Not I was wrong. Not I ruined our marriage. Just, I miss us." Translation: I miss the version of life where you handled everything. I looked at his basket: frozen dinners, cheap beer, and 2 packets of instant mashed potatoes. I smiled, not cruelly, just honestly. Double quotes. "Matt, you don't miss us. You miss stability." He didn't argue, which is how I knew I was right. People expect the ending to be reflavored, but the real twist, I didn't want him back. I didn't even want him punished anymore. I wanted peace, and I finally had it. Revenge gets you justice. Healing gets you freedom. Both are necessary, but only one is permanent. Looking back, I didn't lose a husband and a best friend. I lost 2 liabilities disguised as love and loyalty, and I gained something nobody talks about. That's the kind of self-respect no one can second guess because the receipts are printed and color-coded. If you stayed till the end of this story, tighten your blanket and smash the like button so YouTube unlocks the next chapter in this series. Drop a comment and tell me, would you have gone nuclear sooner or played it the way I did? Also tell me What country are you watching from, and what's the exact time there right now? I love knowing who's awake with me while we unpack the madness of real life, because sometimes the worst day of your life is actually just the trailer for the best season yet.